All right, section 2.2 is called addition on a number line. And I'm going to go through some cases here and work out some problems on the number line. So the first case would be, ignore that for the moment, would be when you're adding same signs. So let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go, that's better. So if you have a positive and positive, like 2 plus 3, you're going to start at 0 and go to the right 2, and then go to the right 3 more, and you're going to end up on a positive 5. So 2 plus 3 is 5. So a positive plus a positive must be a positive. Still under the same case, same signs, you could have a negative and a negative. So for example, negative 2 plus negative 4, you're starting at 0 and you're going left 2, and then left again 4, because you're going in a negative direction for both numbers, and you're going to end up on negative 6. So negative 2 plus negative 4 equals a negative 6. A negative plus a negative equals a negative. The pattern is, if whatever the sign is of the two numbers you're adding, you get the same sign of the answer. The answer is the same sign. So when you're adding same signs, you can say keep and add. That means keep the sign and add the numbers. Now, under the case different signs, you could have, so for example, negative 3 plus 5, I'm going to start at 0 and go left 3, negative 3, and then from that point, I want to go positive 5. Well, I have positive is right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 2 more to make 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I end up on a positive 2. So you could see 2 is kind of it's the overlap, or what doesn't overlap. So you end up really subtracting these numbers, and I'm going to keep the sign of these two numbers that have different signs. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number. Just look at their absolute values. 5 is bigger than 3, so my answer is going to be positive because 5 is positive. Also under different signs, in this case, the bigger absolute number, if I just look at the absolute value, would be the negative this time. So let's add 4 and negative 6. Start at 0, right 4, because that's positive 4, and then negative 6. So from this point, I forgot an arrow there. From this point, I'm going to go left 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should end up right there. This is a negative 6. And I end up on negative 2. So I'm really subtracting these numbers to get to negative 2. I'm subtracting them, and then I'm taking the sign of the bigger absolute number. 6 is bigger than 4, so my answer has to be negative. Now just subtract the numbers, ignoring the sign. 6 minus 4 is 2. And that's how I get a negative 2. So for different signs, you could say subtract and take sign of bigger number. All right, so once again, you have same signs, keep and add, different signs, subtract, take the sign of the bigger number. Then you'll be exact. Now, some examples from the book. Well, there's two here. There's two other properties. Let me go over those first. So I'm going to turn the page over. And you're given the property of opposites. And the property of opposites says that if you have A plus negative A, two opposites, then they cancel each other out and you get 0. Or because of the commutative property, you could say negative A plus A, same thing, and you get a 0. You want to make use of this property when you work some of these problems on the assignment. And then there's another property. You don't need to worry about the title, this title, because it's not really important, but it's property of the opposite of a sum. And it goes like, if you have a negative sign outside a grouping symbol, and then you have some terms on the inside, you can think of that being a -1, and it's being distributed to everything on the inside. It just changes the sign. This on the outside will change the sign of every term on the inside of the parenthesis. So that equals negative A plus negative B. That's really important. So example, if I have negative 3, let's do minus 2x. Let's just do that. First of all, let me keep, change my signs. I'm going to change the sign of everything on the inside. So the 3 becomes a -3 because it's positive. The 2x is already negative, so it's going to become positive. All right, now let's see. Let me check my time. Okay, I'm all right. Let me do some examples from this section. Let's do here. -9 plus -8 plus 9. You could just add the two negatives and then add the positive, but associative says I can switch my groupings, and commutative says I can reorder things. So I want to really add the -9 and the 9 together first. So mentally I'm just going to go -9 plus 9. Those make a 0, so they cancel each other out, and we just get a -8. So look for pairs of opposites in these, so that just makes it easier to add. And then as a general rule, let's do, let's see. How about, all right, let's do this one. It doesn't matter the order. Sometimes it's better to add all the negatives together than you add all the positives and combine them. Just add them in the order that makes the most sense. Plus -2. Well, in this case, I see the -3 and the -2. I could just call this, well, I guess I could just do it in this order if I wanted to, because this is going to be 2 and -2 makes 0. I could also add the 5 and the negative 2 together, and that makes 3, and negative 3, that cancels. So I guess I'll just go ahead and keep this order. Those cancel out to 0. All right, so pretty simple. Let me do one with variables. Let's go 7x plus negative 3 plus negative y plus negative 7. All right, well, I need to add these two together because they're like terms. And the rule is they have the same sign, so I'm going to keep the negative sign and just add the numbers. So that's 10, keep the negative. So I have a negative 10, just adding those two. And then I have a 7x and a minus y. Those two terms can't be added with the numbers, and they can't be added with each other because they're not alike. So all I can do is tack those on at the end like that. And that's as far as it goes. Let's do one more. Let's go negative m plus k plus m. Well, if I were to do this grouping symbol first, I can't do anything because those aren't like terms. So because there's addition, it's only addition, I can add these in any order I want. It makes the most sense to add the negative m and the m together because they're opposites. So those two are going to cancel out. So basically I'm doing commutative in my head, and I'm also doing associative in my head. And then I get just k. All right, that's it.